session. So, welcome to Let's Crack UPSC CSE in English with Unacademy. Clear? And my name is Vijay Kumar, and about me, I have 5 years of teaching experience for civil services, and also I have appeared for civil services interview twice. And post then, I have been teaching to number of aspirants who have the ambition of becoming a civil servant. Clear? And since the last 5 years I have dealt in many of the offline institutes, and since 2016 I am working on this particular Unacademy platform. I enjoy working on this platform because this platform will make sure that it would be reaching more and more people through this particular digital aspect. And every day I'll be coming up with one separate subtopic from the geography. So for as prelims is very much near, like on May 31st, approximately we have 90 days of time. So within this 90 days, I'll ensure that almost all the subtopics of your preliminary examination from the geography syllabus would be covered, so that you won't find any difficulties in that. And daily at 7 p.m. live, I'll be coming up with this subtopic, and daily at 9:30 p.m. live, I'll be coming up with the MCQs which are made from this precipitational aspect. Clear? So let's crack UPSC with India's largest platform, that is Unacademy. So if you want to, just 1 minute. So if you want to crack UPSC CSE with India's largest platform, the just only minimum thing which you have to do is open your Play Store app, and immediately once you open the Play Store app, click on Unacademy Learning app. And once you click on Unacademy Learning app, it would be installed. Open the home page and you will find the Get Subscription button, and try to use and get this Get Subscription button. So try to press on this, and when you press on this Get Subscription button, you will be directed towards different pages so that you can see. And what you will be getting by getting the subscription of Unacademy would be the question which is in your mind. Clear? So these are the things which you would be getting, like daily you will be experiencing live classes. Along with that, you will be experiencing live test and different quiz, and you will find structured courses in this particular Unacademy platform. Like daily live classes, you can chat with the educator, you can engage in discussions, you can ask your doubts, and you can answer the polls, like you would be present directly live, and you will directly feel like you are sitting in the classroom itself. Clear? And along with that, you will find live test series, and also the quizzes, and also you will find the structured courses, and you will get the unlimited access on this particular platform. So these are the top educators who are present. Like if you could see Sudarshan Gujar, Ayush Sanghi, Prakash Kumar, and Runal Patel, almost all the top educators in India come onto this platform and teach, so that you won't find any difficulties. One particular subject, you can learn it from multiple educators. So that is the major benefit you would be getting on this particular platform. Clear? So just 1 minute. Yes, thank you. Clear? So you would experience this particular multiple lectures you can observe. And apart from that, once you get the subscription done, you will be getting up with the special classes. Clear? So before that also, you can watch the special classes, and thereby this special classes will give you a crystal clear idea regarding with how the classes run on this particular platform. You can see special classes made from all the educators who are present on this particular platform. Clear? So you can also see the upcoming courses which are going to come on this platform. Like you can schedule your preparation accordingly, so that prior 1 month before itself you would be getting what are the course which are going to launch, and when we can teach with like when we can read with this particular educator on the platform. See, these are the subscription prices which would be very nominal. In such a kind, per 1 month, if you see, it would be 7,200, 3 month it is 18,000, 6 month 28,800, 12 month 36,000, and for 24 month it is 43,200. Clear? So if you see, the variability between 12 month and 24 month is very least. Like if you see 36,000 and 43,200, the difference is only 7,000. So better I suggest to students who are going for 12 month, they can directly go for 24 month availability of course. Clear? So please do get the course done today itself, get the subscription done. And one more offer which I am giving you is, like, before you get the subscription done, try to use the code called as VK10, and when you use the code called as VK10, you would be getting 10% discount from this particular price also. So you would be getting this subscription for 24 months. Like it would be 43,200 minus 10%, so 100% you will be getting the benefit when you use this particular code. Clear? So please try to use this code. And let's start up with our lecture called as precipitation. In general, precipitation is the final output. Clear? So whenever we learn about precipitation, it is hence true that we have to understand prior evaporation, humidity, condensation, and precipitation. See, for example, in those regions, if you have high temperatures, then we would be having high evaporational rates. So evaporation is considered as change of liquid state into gaseous state. A simple definition. Every time, don't remember the complex definitions which you won't be able to recollect during the examinations. So evaporation is a simple process whereby liquid converts into gaseous state, and this particular evaporation which is present, that leads to humidity. Like the water vapor which is moving upward in the air parcels, it will increase the humidity levels. So for example, if I have an air packet above my head, if its capacity to hold water droplets is 2, and if it has 2 water droplets, then the relative humidity would be 100%, which we generally call it as saturation point. And beyond that saturation point, cloud formation starts, and that cloud formation whereby the process of condensation would be starting, that is called as condensation process. There what happens is gaseous state converts into liquid state, that we call it as process of condensation. Clear? So condensation is a process whereby the water vapor converts itself into water droplets and hence create cloud formations. With that, we would be having precipitation. So for precipitation to happen, it is hence true that we have to have least temperature. The reason behind it is, if you have maximum temperatures, then the air parcel increases its size. Hence humidity doesn't reach 100%. Hence that will lead to formation, that doesn't lead to formation of cloud. Hence precipitation never takes place. Clear? So if you could see here, in this lecture we would be seeing what is precipitation and what are different forms of precipitation, and we would be seeing different types of rainfalls as well. So precipitation is nothing but the condensed water vapor will have a release of moisture from the base of the cloud. Clear? So from the base of the cloud, we would be having release of moisture, which we would be calling it as precipitation. So like when the resistance of air fails to hold them against the force of gravity, they fall onto the earth's surface as different forms of precipitation. We would be seeing these different forms of precipitation later on. So precipitation may happen in either liquid form or it may happen in solid form as well. So if you see, in general, the most commonest precipitation which is present, that is in the form of drops of water, which would be called as rainfall. So generally, any such kind of precipitation to be considered as rainfall, the drop size of that raindrop should be more than 0.5 mm. So if the raindrop size diameter is more than 0.5 mm, then it would be considered as rainfall. If it is less than that, it would be considered as just a drizzle, not as a rainfall. We on and often hear in the news like it's a drizzling. In English also we would be hearing these statements. It's a drizzling. Like during the live cricket matches, we would be getting the commentary as it's a drizzling, it's heavily raining, it's pouring down. Clear? So in this way, drizzle is nothing but small shower of water falling which has less than 0.5 mm diameter. So we have various types of precipitation. Like one type of precipitation, it is rainfall. Already I have discussed regarding with that. The next type of most common precipitation is virage. So what is virage? Raindrops evaporate before reaching their surface. That would be considered as virage. Do remember this point. Most important. They might ask you a question on this particular aspect. Next is drizzle. As I have already said, it is light rainfall whereby the raindrop size would be less than 0.5 mm. Clear? Hence a drizzle is also important. Clear? And here comes mist. Evaporation, drizzle, occurs before reaching the ground, leading to foggy weather conditions, and such kind of foggy weather conditions which would be generated whereby the drizzle gets evaporated into that cloudy like foggy like structure, that would be considered as mist. And hence snowfall. If you see this drizzle, virage and mist, they are generally, and rainfall even, they are most common towards the lowest latitudes. Like they are most common to lower latitudes, like within the tropics we can say. But snowfall, it is more common within the upper latitudes and also in the lower latitudes. But in lower latitudes, it comes near, like it comes at higher altitudes. For example, within the tropics, do you think we don't have the snowfall? Yes, we would be having the snowfall, but within the tropics we have snowfall. Just beyond that we have very least amount of snowfall. For example, if I say Himalayas experience huge amount of snowfall, Himalayas experience huge amount of snowfall. What is the reason behind it? Because the temperature decreases when we move altitude wise. The condensation process which happens, that doesn't happen as rainfall, rather it happens as snowfall. So snowfall is nothing but fine flakes of snow when the temperature is less than 0 degrees centigrade. That would be called as snowfall. Clear? Snowfall may happen at higher latitudes and also lower latitudes, but it has to happen at higher altitudes in lower latitudes. Do remember this point. Apart from that, we have a concept called a sleet, whereby the frozen raindrops and the refrozen melted snow would be called as sleet fall. And mixture of snow and rain in general, because the snow which is solidified in nature, if it doesn't have the mixage of rain, it falls as pure solid. Done. So but when it is partially mixed with this rain or mere partially melted snow, would be called as sleet fall. And hailstorm. So precipitation in the form of hard round pellets, like simply like ice cube like structures, they are called as hailstorms. And these hailstorms, they are most common to lower latitudes. Like in general, what happens is, if there is sudden convectional ascent. So what is convectional ascent and convectional rainfall, we will be seeing in the upcoming slides. But this particular hailstorm which is present, that hailstorm happens generally in lower latitudes because of sudden convectional ascent, the rainfall starts dropping down. And from the base of the cloud, when the raindrop comes and when it tries to reach us onto that surface, if there is some cold layer in between, like the air layer as well as the ground surface, when the raindrops passes through that cold layers, we would be experiencing the cubing, like ice cube like structures which would be falling onto that surface. They are called as hailstorms. Clear? So as rainfall is the most important type of rainfall which we have, on the basis of origin, the rainfall might be classified into 3 types. Just 1 minute. I'll set this again. Okay, done. So in types of rainfalls, we would be having major 3 types of rainfall. One is convectional rainfall, one is orographic rainfall, and one is cyclonic rainfall. First, we'll start up with convectional rainfall. Do remember this picture, because the geography can be imagined through the most imagination which you would be doing, and most amount of picturization and the diagrammatical representation. In general, what is convectional rainfall is, for example, if one region is experiencing huge high sun, and this region would be evaporating, like we would be having huge amount of evaporation, and because of huge amount of evaporation, warm air, the air which is present, that would increase its volume, and this warm air, after increasing volume, it reaches to certain heights, and that results into formation of cloud. This warm air which would be lifting up, that would be having water vapor. See, this warm air which is lifting up, that would be having water vapor. Yeah, so the warm air which you can see, which is lifting upwards, and this particular warm air which lifts upwards, that after reaching certain heights, it cools and condenses and it forms clouds. Mostly it would be forming cumulonimbus clouds. Clear? And hence through these clouds we would be having rainfall. Such kind of rainfall, wherever it would be observed, that would be called as convectional rainfall. See, here you can see the convectional ascent has created huge amount of dark cloudy structures, and that is resulting into precipitations along with the thunderstorms which are present. Clear? The lightning effect and the thunderstorm impact you can observe over here. So convectional rainfall is always associated with cumulonimbus clouds, which creates precipitations with huge amount of thunderstorms and the lightning effects which fall onto the earth's surface. And such kind of convectional rainfall scenario you can observe in equatorial region. Why? Because near to the equatorial region we would be experiencing maximum heat, because of which evaporation happen. Actually, when we see the temperature distribution, it has to be equator which should receive maximum temperature, but despite of receiving maximum insolation, equator doesn't receive maximum temperature. Rather, why equator doesn't receive maximum temperature is, it receives maximum temperatures, but there would be compensation from this rainfall. So near the equatorial regions, daily there would be evaporation. Daily this is a cyclical process whereby we would be experiencing precipitation through this. So convectional rainfalls are mostly associated with the equatorial regions, and hence it is also true that within the tropical locations also during the summer seasons we would be having convectional rains. We in India during summer season, especially in the southern states, when we would be having maximum heats in the month of April and May, we would be experiencing rainfall. That is most common, but the rainfall would be of very shorter duration, and that kind of rainfall which happens especially that you would be seeing in the evenings itself. Whenever you see the rainfalls in the month of March, April and May, you would be seeing those rainfalls in the later sessions, like post your lunch you would be observing such kind of rainfalls. Such kind of rainfalls are called as convectional rainfalls, and in equatorial region we would be having mostly convectional types of rainfall. Throughout the year equatorial region receives rainfall, and it is hence true that this equatorial regions receive this rainfall every day between 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. and hence it has also a nickname called as 4 p.m. rainfall as well. Do remember this, the convectional rains which are present, they are highly important towards the equatorial regions. Here you can see about, I have given some statements which you have to remember because they might ask you in your preliminary. So the air on being heated becomes light and rises up as convection currents. Here the air is heating up and rising as convectional ascent. As it rises, it expands and loses heat obviously, and consequently when it loses heat, it cools down, and when it cools down, condensation happens, and when condensation happens, we would be having formation of cumulus clouds. And see this statement, one convection is a rapid and intense cumulonimbus clouds are created. So most amount of time when the maximum heat would be deposited, we would be experiencing cumulonimbus clouds. Do remember this point, cumulonimbus clouds. Remember this picturization, cumulonimbus clouds. Clear? So this process releases latent heat of condensation, which further heats the air and forces the air to go further upwards. Got this point? Next, convectional precipitation is heavy, but it is of very shorter duration. Do remember this point, my dear future bureaucrats. Clear? So it's not like we would be having heavy gush of precipitation. Only the precipitation happens between 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. That's it. Clear? So hence it is highly localized and is associated with minimum amount of cloudiness. Done. And this convectional rainfalls occurs during summer and is most common near equatorial doldrums. Why equatorial regions are called as doldrums? Because of the calm weather conditions. And if you could see, the equatorial regions of Congo Basin, Amazon Basin and Southeast Asian regions will experience huge convectional rainfall. I have marked these regions where convectional rainfall is maximum experienced. You can see what is this basin called as? Amazon Basin, where Anaconda is present. Clear? And this is Congo Basin, Congo and Zaire Basin, where equatorial region is present. And this is southeastern region, like in and around the Indonesia. So these regions receive huge amount of convectional rainfall. Do remember this. Now the second type of rainfall. I hope the picture is clear for you. Yes dear, picture is very clear for you. See, orograph mountain, that's it, mountainic rainfall. Simply, when prevailing winds, when they come, prevailing winds, it might be westerlies, it might be trade winds. In my first lecture of this Let's Crack UPSC CSE with English, I have dealt with this wind system itself. Go and watch those lectures, you will be understanding what prevailing winds are. Prevailing winds might be trade winds or westerlies or any other warm wind. When these warm winds or fast moving winds, when they generally move on the oceanic bodies or like sea water bodies, these prevailing winds, they tend to evaporate the water from it. Clear? And these prevailing winds, they catch the moisture. And immediately as they catch the moisture, when they enter into the continental landmass, they will have the orographic as an obstruction. So hence they can't move further. Hence this particular wind which has carried moisture, it tends to lift upwards. And by lifting upwards, it creates cloud formation in this way. These prevailing winds under the orographic impact, they lift upwards and hence they condenses and create cloud formations. And we would be having huge amount of precipitation in this windward side margin. And after creating the cloud formation, these winds move back to the back of this mountainous region. And hence, this type of rainfall, wherever you can observe, you can call it as orographic rainfall. And this orographic rainfall is experiencing only rainfall on one side of the mountain. On the back side, you won't experience any kind of rainfall, because the winds which has raised up has continuously created this cloud formation, and precipitation which it has created, this moisture completely has dropped down now, and this winds doesn't carry any kind of moisture which is present into it. Hence we would be experiencing huge amount of precipitation on one side of the mountain, and on the other side we won't experience any kind of precipitation. So hence we experience dry conditions. So we generally name it as windward side, which experiences high rainfall, and back to the mountain we call it as leeward side. And this leeward side, sometimes it is also referred as rain shadow region. Clear? So leeward side, the places which are present, they experience very limited or no precipitation at all. But on windward side, we experience huge precipitation and dense vegetation would be possible. And I'll say the live example now. The orographic precipitation which happens when monsoon enters into India, let's assume this as Western Ghats, and this region as Mumbai, and this region as Pune. Because of this monsoonal impact, Mumbai receives huge amount of precipitation, but Pune receives very least precipitation. Like Mumbai receives more than 200 centimeters of average annual rainfall, but Pune receives 75 to 80 centimeter of average annual rainfall. So there is huge difference between these two sides of the mountain. So in some of the regions, if the mountains are very high, this rain shadow region may even have a desert. Best example, the Patagonian desert, which is present, that is to the rain shadow region of the Andes mountain ranges of South America. Taklamakan desert, which is back to that of Himalayas. In this way, some regions where we experience huge mountainous chains, in those regions we may also experience the desertified formations in the rain shadow regions. Clear? So in general, this type of precipitation occurs when warm, humid air strikes an orographic barrier. Obviously, I have said because of initial movement, air is forced to rise and the moisture latent air gains height, it expands and hence the temperature falls. Now condensation which is present, that sets in and soon saturation is reached. The surplus moisture falls as orographic rainfall along the windward sides. Clear? So do remember all these points which are present. So do remember this leeward side and windward side. The capacity to take in moisture increases and hence leeward slopes remain very dry or completely rainless. Clear? The area situated on leeward side which gets less rainfall is known as rain shadow area. As I have already mentioned, Patagonian desert and eastern slopes of Western Ghats, like in the states of Telangana, Vidarbha region of Maharashtra, and also eastern Karnataka region experience this rain shadow effect. Hence these regions of Telangana, Vidarbha, eastern Karnataka, they are either arid portions or semi-arid regions. Clear? So the rainfall in this rain shadow region is also known as relief rainfall. Like for example, if you calculate Mahabaleshwar situated on windward side of Western Ghats receives more than 600 centimeter, whereas Pune lying on this side will receive 70 centimeter of the rainfall. Clear? And the next type of rainfall which we have, that is frontal rainfall. In general, I'll be discussing this front again during the cyclonic section, but as of now, at the 66-degree latitude, whenever the warm air comes as westerlies and when the cold air comes as polar easterlies, when warm air and warm wind and cold wind comes into picture, they would be never mixing up. So instead of not mixing up, there we would be having formation of this front like structure. Front is nothing but a vacuum or an inclined bench like structure which would be formed, which makes the warm winds to raise upwards. And these warm winds which would be rising upwards, they would be developing cloud formation, and hence along the frontal zone we would be experiencing the precipitational patterns, and that would be called as frontal rainfall, which is most common towards the subpolar regions, like in and around 60 to 70, or we can calculate it from 55 to 70 degree latitude. The amount of rainfall which would be created, that would be called as frontal rainfall. And this front also have connection with the temperate cyclone. That temperate cyclone I'll be discussing in a separate chapter as a separate subtopic, where I'll be explaining different types of fronts for you. Clear? So please do focus on this frontal rainfall as well. If you could see, frontal rainfall will only have this when when two air masses with different temperatures meet, turbulent conditions are produced, hence front would be generated. And formation of front is called as frontogenesis, disappearance of front is called as frontolysis. Along the front, convection occurs and causes precipitation. So we will be studying this in friends, that's why I have mentioned to you here. Again, during the temperate cyclone we would be studying. For instance, in northwestern Europe, cold continental air and warm oceanic air converges to produce heavy rainfall in the adjacent areas. This is the best example. Hope you have understood with these three aspects. Clear? Hence, come and join with us on Let's Crack UPSC CSE English daily 7 p.m. live. I'll be coming up with one important subtopic for your UPSC CSE Prelims, which is going to happen on March 31st, 2020. So I'll be helping you within the like 90 to 100 subtopics which you will be 100% getting benefit from. And if you want to get the continuous notifications, please click on the bell icon. And please do subscribe to this Unacademy Let's Crack UPSC CSE channel. And if you have liked this video, please click on the like symbol. And you can also comment the subtopics which you are required with, so that I'll be coming up with those subtopics teaching you. And don't forget to get the subscription done. Get the Unacademy subscription done today itself. Open your Play Store app, and immediately once you open, drop Unacademy Learning app and click on the install button. Once you click on the install button, you will be redirected towards the home page. Once for as like see the special classes, you will be mesmerized with those special classes. 100% you will be getting the benefit from these special classes, so that you will understand how the classes would be going to happen on the platform. And use the code called as VK10 before you get the subscription done. Hence you will be getting 10% discount from it. Yeah. Thank you for watching this lesson. Have an awesome day. Jai Hind.